We will now look into a very important area of discussion, prospectus. What do you mean? What do you understand by prospectus? In fact, there are so many sections in the Companies Act dealing with the topic of prospectus. A full chapter has been devoted to this topic of prospectus. Why so much of importance is given by a company to this topic of prospectus? The answer is not difficult to understand. Let us spend some time, go very deep into the subject as such. First, listen all of you very carefully. Come on, I want students to completely concentrate on the subject. Then only you will understand these are all technical subjects as such. Fine. Suppose you want to purchase a color TV. You go to a shop and purchasing the color TV is a very easy exercise. There are no problems in that. Why it is an easy exercise? The product is in front of you. You can examine the features of the TV. You can examine the quality, quantity, the price, the grade, the model, everything and take a decision, right? Going to shop and purchasing goods is very easy exercise. It's not difficult. But then, investing money in the securities, investing money in shares is a very difficult exercise. Why? Why? First you tell me, why will you put money in shares? For returns. As simple as that. What are the various types of returns you get from investing in the shares? One is, first one, dividends, right shares, bonus shares, then increase in market value of shares. These are all the various benefits you get. I repeat again, increase in market value of shares, more than the price at which you have purchased or the shares were allotted to you. Then you get dividends, right shares, bonus shares, all that. These are the returns which you get on the securities for which you invest money in shares. Now listen very carefully. These returns are not going to come today. When these returns will come? Tomorrow. When these returns will come? The company has to set up the project, commercial production has to take place, then the product has to establish itself in the market, the company has to establish the goodwill, earn profits, and then the question of market price, dividends, right shares, bonus shares, all this will arise. So therefore, you are not going to get all these returns today. It will take years together, maybe 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, we do not know. But then the problem is, the point is, when is the company requiring money? But the money is required by the company when you invest in the shares today. So today, the product is not in front of you. Therefore, on what basis you put the money? On the basis of a document issued by the company called prospectus. So now, please understand, in a crude way, if you say, what is prospectus? Prospectus is nothing but a set of promises made by the company. Beautiful way of looking at it. It's a document giving you a set of promises, which may happen, may not happen, because business operates in dynamic environment. So the company is only trying to say, look, this is my ideology. This is what the present market position is. So I hope we can perform better and then we'll get all these returns. So prospectus is nothing but a set of promises. Now come to the issue. So therefore, when prospectus is a set of promises, you have to be very careful in what you write. I'll put it bluntly. You should not promise in the prospectus the company is likely to purchase Golconda Fort, Charminar, Tangmand, Indian Ocean shortly. As simple as that. So, you should be careful in what you write in the prospectus. Because another thing, we will say, prospectus is a bridge. Prospectus is a bridge linking the company on one side and the investors on the other side. Please look at it very carefully. The company which is in this side wants to mobilize money for their projects. So therefore, they are issuing prospectus. So they are saying, we'll do this, we'll do that and all. Naturally, they'll give attractive features to mobilize more money from the investors. On the other hand, therefore, the company has nothing to lose. The company has everything to gain by issuing prospectus. On the other hand, look at the investor who is going to put the money at the other end of the bridge based on this document called prospectus. Suppose he puts the money on the basis of prospectus containing misstatements, he has everything to lose. Look at it. The company has everything to gain by issuing prospectus, whereas the investor has everything to lose when they put the money based on prospectus containing misstatements. Hence, when public money is taken, government cannot be a silent spectator. Hence, you find a separate chapter regulating the companies when they issue prospectus. Companies Act also regulates, SEBI guidelines also regulates. In fact, you find more than 10 to 12 sections dealing on this topic of prospectus. Not only that, the prospectus, in case of misstatement, for the same offence, it will attract both civil penalties as well as criminal penalties, civil and criminal liabilities for misstatement in prospectus. And you have lot of case laws. For example, in the New Brunswick-Magadridge case, wonderfully the prospectus says, the case law says, the prospectus must tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing else other than the truth. Nothing should be stated as a fact which is not so, and no fact should be omitted. Everything should be stated in strict and scrupulous accuracy. Look at the language. The law says, I will not tolerate even the slightest deviation from the level of accuracy. That's what it is. That's why so much of penalties. So therefore, if these provisions are not there, the board of directors will give exaggerated statements to attract the investors, and these events may happen, may not happen. Therefore, somewhere some balancing has to be done. What is the balancing I am talking of? The companies also has to issue prospectus with attractive statements so as to mobilize money for the projects. At the same time, the investor should not be taken for a ride. Those things which are impossible must not be committed in the prospectus. You have to do some reasonable way of presentation of the future prospects. Hence, we have all these points in the topic of prospectus. Okay, then before I go into this meaning of the prospectus, let's practically try to think and understand. Now suppose you want to join the CA course. Obviously you would like to know some information about this course. What is this foundation? What is this inter? What is this final? Now how much torture you should undergo? What are the basic qualifications to enter this course? Then what are the various subjects? How much marks you should get? When the examinations will be conducted? Then what are the training requirements? Then how to get the membership, number of attempts, like that. So therefore, when you join a CA course, you go to the CA Institute and you pay 100 rupees and purchase a document called prospectus. Like that, when the company also goes for public issue, naturally the investor would like to know some details about the company and their future prospects. So practically looking at it, what the prospectus will contain? First, the organizational structure, then the management, the various employees and branches and other organization, then what are the products they are going to manufacture, then what is the manufacturing process, then what are the utilities, then what are the highlights, what are the risk factors, then what are the future projections, how much the company is going to earn over a period of 5 to 10 years, Then what is the likely dividends they may declare? Then what about the competition in the market? Fine. What about the technology which they are using? The story goes on. So everyone, when they put their money, would like to know about the company. That is what is given in prospectus. So when you are designing a prospectus, you have to be very careful. You have to be reasonable. As I told you, do some kind of balancing. You have to give not only highlights, you have to give risk factors also. You not only give only highlights, you also project risk factors. I'll put it in a funny way. Suppose the alliance between boy and girl is being discussed. I'm talking of traditional marriage, not this love marriage and all. Okay? Right. Now the alliance is being discussed. Now say for the fun of it, take it in a funny way. Say for the fun of it, see the conversation which happens with the girl's mother and boy's mother. Now, the girl's mother obviously will ask her, what is the boy, bridegroom, the boy doing? You know how this innocent boy's mother will talk. My son is doing CA. Doing CA? No, that's okay, madam. At what stage he is? No, CA is a very big course. Madam, we know it is a big course. So now tell me what stage he is. He has joined the foundation. Oh my God. Okay, so he is not a qualified fellow. He has just joined foundation. But he is also doing BCom. Oh my God, he is not even a graduate. Okay, there is no qualification. Then she is making some inquiry. Is he employed? No. I told my son that you cannot combine employment and study together. You will not find time. Oh my God. No qualifications, no education, no employment. And the stupid fellow wants marriage. Okay, then as you have got some property, are you a zamindar? Madam, please tell your assets. No, my husband is a government employee, very sincere, honest government employee. Oh, I see. So my husband gets a monthly net amount 22,312 rupees 20 paisa. Oh my God. Then what about this house? Is it own house? No, it is rented house. Just imagine. And this stupid fellow wants marriage. Then the then the girl's mother is so upset. Madam, what is all this? He is not employed, he is not qualified, and he doesn't have any property. Now, how is he going to support his wife after marriage? No, madam, you are mistaken. What mistaken? Madam, you leave all this. My son is a very intelligent person. No, my son is a very well-built person. What well-built? He has got two beautiful eyes. He has got a nice nose. Madam, who wants eyes and nose? If one eye is not there also we can manage. Okay, somehow. What is required is for living. Those are all secondary. For living you should have qualification, you should have experience, you should have little bit wealth, all those the factors. Now come to the point, you are able to understand. So therefore I am going to invest my money in the company. Therefore you don't tell me all exaggerated things. You get it? So you tell the truth, what you are going to do. Sometimes about the technological excellence also you have to speak. Technology is changing very fast. Today, you are doing a particular product. After 2 years, the product will be redundant. So therefore, somewhere this balancing has to be done. Hence, you have got all these provisions relating to prospectus. Is that clear? So this is what it is. We will now start in the subject. Fine. So therefore, let's start. Prospectus means any document described or issued as prospectus and includes a written prospectus, shelf prospectus, or any notice, circular, advertisement or other document inviting from the public for the subscription or purchase of any securities of a body corporate. I've been telling this again and again. I told this number of times also that when it comes to definition, too much of your own ideas must not be there. Come on. What he says? Prospectus is a document issued as prospectus. Listen, you may write in the document prospectus, then obviously it becomes prospectus. Sometimes you may not write the word prospectus. To confuse the public, sometimes you may say for private circulation only, not a prospectus. It doesn't really matter. These words doesn't carry any conviction. So he says, or issued as a prospectus and includes any notice, circular, advertisement or other document. What is the purpose of the document? To invite from the public the subscription or purchase of any securities of the body corporate. It also includes red herring prospectus, shelf prospectus. I'll come to that later. So, when a company issues the document called prospectus or any notice, circular, advertisement or any document, what is the purpose of this document? Inviting the public to purchase or subscribe for the securities of the body corporate. So somewhere, suppose if you write a letter to your friend about the achievements of the company, this letter is not a prospectus. But somewhere if you write in that letter or circular or advertisement or prospectus that the company is going to shortly come out to the public issue of shares, please subscribe for the shares, then this becomes invitation document. This document is a prospectus. Now clear? So giving the list of achievements is not prospectus. You must invite. Invite whom? The public. A section of public is also public. For example, if you circulate the document only to the doctors living in Hyderabad, that is also invitation to the public. So any document, notice, circular, advertisement, inviting the public for the subscription or purchase of any securities of a body corporate. This is the definition of prospectus. Beautiful definition. If you break up this definition and see, you find about 3 ingredients which constitute the prospectus. 4 ingredients. Come on. First one I told you, there must be invitation to the public. If there is no invitation, then it is not prospectus. You must invite the public that shortly I am going to come out with the shares. Please subscribe for the shares. Second, the invitation must be made by the company or on behalf of the company. What is that on behalf of the company? I will tell you later. Offer of sale of securities. When we go there, we'll understand. Third, the invitation must be to subscribe or purchase. Subscribe means company directly allotting the shares. Purchasing means from someone. Offer of sale of shares. There I will tell you. Then the invitation must be for the securities, which will include shares, debentures and other similar instruments. So this is how, when you break up, you get the 4 ingredients of the prospectus. Then look at the question. Explain the meaning and role of the prospectus. Write this definition. That should be enough.